today's report, the 10th of May. All right, today, want to talk about something important that can actually affect and have a very good trade. Today, I'd like to talk about the BOJ board, right? Bank of Japan's board turning hawkish over here. Now, what does this hawkish mean for people who are still new to this is that hawkish means that they are looking into, in a way, in this situation, will be more like looking into increasing interest rates, looking into increasing it not only just once, but consecutive times if the situation warrants. Okay, so how did it come into this kind of decisions today? So let's revisit them. So at the April policy meeting, the Bank of Japan board members displayed a notably hawkish stance. The consensus among them was that the growing necessity to gradually increase interest rates to preempt the risk of inflation exceeding targets. This one of the region. Now, this sentiment was underscored by some board members who anticipated a potentially quicker pace of rate hikes due to rising inflation expectations. Despite these hawkish indications from the Bank of Japan, the yen so far has not strengthened. Right? Market focus remains on the diminishing likelihood of imminent US interest rate cuts, which sustains a significant interest rate differential between the US and Japan, which remains still wide. But is this relationship going to continue where the yen will it continue to rise? I would say from a technical perspective, currently yen is at a what they call a borderline, which it could a trader could actually see it strengthening going forward, but we still need to wait for certain areas for price to react to certain areas and see what kind of price action that will give us that idea whether it's going to strengthen or it's going to weaken further. Okay, so far further discussions highlighted a cautious approach to the rate increases amidst to avoid abrupt and substantial hikes in the future once inflation targets are consistently met. The finance minister, Shunichi Suzuki, also expressed concerns in parliament about the detrimental effects of a rapidly weakening yen on the economy, emphasizing the increased cost of imports. And when you have imports increasing, of course, that will lead to inflation, inflation. So in conclusion, what we have here is the shift towards a more hawkish stance by the Bank of Japan could lead to a tighter monetary policy sooner than anticipated, which may eventually support the yen's value. So fundamentally wise, if it continues, you could actually see that happening. The yen could get stronger. However, effectiveness of these measures will also depend on the global economic trends, particularly the US monetary policy decisions. The Bank of Japan might need to react more assertively if the yen continues to weaken, potentially adjusting their policy tools to mitigate the economic impact of such currency fluctuations. Now, one of the key points here also is the US monetary policy decisions. Now, so far, the Fed is happy to not increase their rates and maintaining it at the current value between 5.25 to 5.5 for this foreseeable time. So, if the Bank of Japan is looking into increasing rates and the Federal Reserve is looking into maintaining it for a foreseeable time, then you could actually see the yen strengthening if you were to compare it with the dollar. But if there are indications, due to increasing inflation in the US, going higher once again, we cannot discount the fact that the Fed might just say, hey, I think that's a mistake over here. Inflation is proving to be stubborn. Why not we increase rates one more time? And that could be a different, could bring a different reaction. That's why I said the effectiveness of these measures will also depend on global economic trends, particularly the US monetary policy decisions. Okay, so we have to monitor this development over here to understand how we want to deal with it. But if things stay as status quo, with the yen, the inflation going up in Japan, of course, with the reaction from the Bank of Japan, you would actually see the yen strengthening. Okay, if things status quo with the US. Okay, so that's the report today. Let's move on to the charts.